The General Patient Database, or work list, can be further defined or filtered by using the Albums and Sources function on the upper toolbar on the database screen. As a note, if you're using a full-screen monitor as opposed to a widescreen monitor and your database window fills the entire monitor from the left to the right, you will need to resize the viewing area before using this function. You will see the General Database folder name with the number of studies in that folder indicated to the right. You will also see other folders or filtered work lists that have been created previously on the system. In this case, there is a 4D Studies folder and Fusion Studies folder. As you left-click once on each folder, you will see any studies that have been designated for that folder. In order to delete a folder or album, highlight the folder name using a single left mouse click and move to the red X button to the upper right of the folder list. Left-click once on the red X button. When you see the message, "Are you sure you want to delete this album?" select OK. The folder or album is no longer on the list. Two types of folders or albums can be created for users. The first type is generally used for manual selection of teaching files or interesting cases that correspond with a particular pathology or exam type. In order to create this type of folder or album, left-click once on the green plus sign button above the folder listings. A screen appears which prompts the user to provide a name for the new album. For our example, we will type 4D Studies in the name field and select the OK button with a single left mouse click. Studies can be added to the folder by selecting the individual patient study from the General Database list with a single mouse click and then holding down the left mouse button to drag the study to the folder. The study is now listed in both the General Database folder as well as the 4D Studies folder. Additional studies are easily added to the folder. Left-click on the 4D folder to see its contents. If a study was placed in the folder in error, it can be removed by right-clicking on the selected study and left-clicking once on the Delete Selected Exam option. The user is provided with two options: remove selected exam from current album or delete the exam from the database. Select the Remove from Current Album to maintain the study in the General Database, but remove the study from a specific folder. The second type of folder or album that can be created is similar to an active work list in which studies are automatically filtered based upon identified criteria as they enter the workstation database. These types of folders are known as smart albums. Folders or albums filtering studies from different modalities with varying arrival times and/or study descriptions are commonly created. Left-click once on the purple circle icon to the right of the green plus icon to create a new smart album. In the album name box, type CT Abdomen Studies. In the Smart Criteria section, left-click once on the down arrow to the right of the first criteria box. Select Modality. Move to the right to left-click once on the down arrow of the second box and select Is CT. Add a second criteria or filter by left-clicking once on the green plus sign to the right of the current criteria. Left-click once on the down arrow to choose Study Description. Move to the right to left-click once on the down arrow of the second box and select Contains. Move the cursor to the third box and type ABD. ABD is used instead of abdomen in this example to capture study descriptions that also use an abbreviated form of the word. Add a third criteria or filter by left-clicking once on the green plus sign to the right of the current criteria. A third criteria line is now available for use. Left-click once on the down arrow to choose Study Date. Move to the right to left-click once on the down arrow of the second box and select Is Within. Move the cursor to the third box. Left-click once on the down arrow and select the last week. As a note, since we are using a static database for this training session, we can remove this last filter by left-clicking on the red X to the right of the study date criteria. Left-click on Create to accept the new folder criteria. The CT Abdomen folder is now populated with studies that meet its filter criteria. Load the first study of the CT Abdomen folder into the 2D display window using the 2D icon. You can navigate to the next or prior patient in the list by left-clicking on the arrow buttons of the patient icon.